Hey guys, this is DFS Chan. Today I'm gonna go over tomorrow's slate, August 28th, EPL Soccer Classic slate. It's gonna have 5 games, 5 EPL games that all start at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, Eastern time. And I'm gonna share my screen here to go over the slate. So here, as you can see, Aston Villa is a favorite, big favorite. They have the even odds over Brentford. And then the second matchup is Brighton versus Everton. And Brighton is a slight favorite on that end. And Newcastle, as you can see, EPL games, I mean, these are soccer games. For those of you who don't know, the matches can end as a draw. So that's why we have 3 odds, including a draw. There's a Newcastle versus Southampton is the third game on the slate, and Newcastle is a slight favorite, as you can see here. And then Norwich versus Leicester City. Leicester City is a big favorite here, and then West Ham is the biggest favorite on the slate at -180 to win outright over Crystal Palace. Here I'm gonna show you my player pool that I think that you may find useful, and I'll go through each matchup and what I thought, about watching those teams last week. So the first one is West Ham versus Crystal Palace. Like I said, West Ham is the biggest favorite on the slate, but I do think it's not gonna produce a lot of goals. West Ham's, I know they've been on fire with a lot of goals and assists the last couple weeks or so. Crystal Palace, I mean, they've been pretty solid on defense, in my opinion. So I just don't know if West Ham will score enough goals. But, I mean, some of their top players' pricing are, I mean, beyond ridiculous, in my opinion. But the players that I would focus that have a decent floor and then also decent upside would be Bowen, Cresswell, Boufal, and Fornals. I mean, Bowen takes a lot of set pieces, so I would focus on him if you think West Ham will dominate. But he is quite expensive, and same for Cresswell. He is the most expensive defender, if I remember correctly. But I just don't know if I will pay up all the way up to Cresswell because there are so many defenders and midfielders here on this slate that have really good values. It's just loaded in the midfield and defender position, in my opinion. So I don't know if I'll go up that far. But on the other side of the defense, Kufal is on the other side of the wing. He likes to cross the balls at times as well, even though he's not on set pieces like Cresswell. And Bowen and Cresswell share set pieces. That's why I have them here as the first 2 players. But Kufal in open play, he likes to cross the balls a lot too. So, and for now, I have him as my GPP option because, I mean, he is a really good play. If you want to chase a goal with West Ham, but still at a cheap value. I think Fornals compared to like Benrahma or Antonio, I think Fornals provides good value there. The biggest underdog playing against West Ham is Crystal Palace. And Conor Gallagher, I mean, he takes all their set pieces right now, and he's pretty cheap still. So I wouldn't mind playing him if you need to punt somebody in your roster construction tomorrow. The second matchup is Leicester City versus Norwich. Leicester City has been so up and down, and they haven't really impressed me. Unimpressed with their offense last couple weeks. I mean, but eventually I think they're gonna get their stuff together. I mean, Tielemans, has been lights out. He even got a goal last week, even with the man down in their matchup. He takes all their most of their corners. Most of their set pieces. Then James Maddison, I mean, he's a great open play player now that he's not taking he doesn't have any share of set pieces. But he's still, I mean, there is a chance that he might get back on those set pieces at some point in this season, because he used to be a good, dead ball kicker, a spot ball kicker. But, I just don't know if he's going to get that back anytime soon, just given the history Tielemans has been the guy for those purposes. And then Luke Thomas, I mean, he's an interesting defender option. I mean, he likes to cross the ball quite a bit. And against in a favorable matchup against Norwich, who has been pretty bad recently. You know, as Norwich, as you guys probably already know, but Norwich is one of the teams that got promoted to the EPL from the Championship League in England. Getting promoted from the tier below this off season. So, and for them, Rashika, I mean, he really is the engine for that team. If they want to win, Rashika will have to provide a lot of crosses and key passes and create scoring chances for that team. So I like Rashika. I mean, he also has set pieces. So yeah, I mean, given how volatile Leicester City has been, I mean, I think Norwich is a good bet. But in order for Norwich to win, Rashika has to play well. The third matchup on the slate is Aston Villa versus Brentford. Aston Villa has looked much better. I mean, their roster is loaded. I mean, Buendia, he just came over from another team this offseason, but he takes all the set pieces now. He took set piece shares away from like any of these guys who used to have a lot of set pieces last year. El Ghazi is obviously a great play in open space. I mean, he loves to shoot, he loves to cross, even though he doesn't have any, share of set pieces now. Leon Bailey, if he does start, he'll be a great value play. He provides a lot of peripheral points, crosses, and sometimes he gets a share of set pieces as well. So I'll keep that in mind. McGinn is probably one of my favorite value plays on the slate. I know he takes a share of set pieces sometimes, but also like in the open play, he provides a lot of key passes, in my opinion, for Aston Villa. And obviously the defenders, Cash or Target would be a good play. So, and for Brentford, the underdog in this matchup, Mbumo, I mean, he's got their set pieces back. I mean, I love Mbumo today. If you think Brentford's going to perform well versus Aston Villa, unfortunately, it's a tough matchup for Brentford. So I don't know how many opportunities he will get. But if you think Brentford's going to do well, I mean, he's going to score well for us, I think. The fourth matchup on the slate is Brighton versus Everton. And Brighton's playing at home, and they always play better at home, I think. Gross, I mean, even though he has I think a $10,000 tag on him, he obviously, depending on where he's lined up on the formation for that team tomorrow, I might play him a little bit in some of my lineups, but he has a lot of the set piece roles, and he is a great key pass maker in the open play, scoring chances created and all that. So I would love Brighton players here in my roster, especially Gross. It can be a little pricey, but he has a very sizable floor, and that's something that is not prevalent for all of the players that I just mentioned so far. So I think Gross is a good play for cash and GPP. And then March would be a good GPP play. Solly March. I mean, So anyways, and then Everton on the other side of the matchup, Digne is obviously a great defender option. He loves to cross the ball, and sometimes he takes set pieces. And then Damari Gray, I mean, he scored a goal last week. But, he can also cross the ball quite a bit. So I mean, he has a decent floor, I think, even though he doesn't have a role in set pieces. So I would consider Gray for maybe borderline cash / safer GPP play. And the last matchup of the day is Newcastle versus Southampton. Matt Ritchie is still one of my favorite defenders to target. And then Alan St. Maximin is one of the best players, open field players, probably in the EPL, I think. I truly believe that. And it's fortunate he's stuck on a bad team, but, he is the best player on that team that can create chances, I think. And Southampton, if you think Southampton's going to do well, I mean, JWP. I mean, really, I think I put this in the Discord channel, but JWP, given the pricing, I mean, I think his pricing is just ridiculously low. He is underpriced. I mean, I'm gonna have JWP in probably all of my lineups. So because I mean, he is a great. He just gets there. He gets all the double-digit points. He gets share of set pieces, and he's a good open play player. So. And then lastly, Valentino Livramento. I mean, he's a great fullback to target. Another defender maybe to pay down for if you are playing one of the big guys, for the favorites. But yeah, so I think he's a good option. And for goalkeeper position, like I said to Sheets the other day, I mean, just play whoever you want. But, obviously make sure that goalie fits your roster construction, and don't play the opposite goalkeeper if you have a lot of players for the opposing team, chasing goals and everything. So obviously you want to pick a goalie that's gonna end in like 0 goal given up or 1 goal given up, but still a lot of shots thrown at him, and he saves a lot of shots. That would be the ideal scenario for goalkeeper. So the level of variance is so low compared to other positional plays. So I would just, for goalkeeper, I always do it last. But anyway, if you guys have any questions on the soccer slate, let me know. Obviously, these players and these teams, and sometimes some of you guys have never played soccer DFS before, but I'll be happy to kind of go through what you're looking for soccer slates. If you are interested in knowing about that, Sheets and I have actually gone over that quite a bit in our first soccer video that we did. So yeah, please go check that out if you're interested. But yeah, for this slate, let me know if you have any questions. But my core plays would probably be Richie, JWP, and then McGinn is my probably value play. And then I'm either going to go up to Bowen or Buendia or Gross. So I think those are probably my top targets. And like I said, the midfielder and the defender position today on this slate are loaded. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Anyway,